Today on Nick's English Head Hot Seat, we'll be talking to Coach Mike Eckler. To the hot seat. Coach, this is your first year at Bloomington. How are you liking Indiana so far?
I love it. I mean, people are great. The town is incredible. University is fantastic. It's been a great experience so far.
Your iPod, I have to ask, what's on it?
I got a lot of country music, a little David Allan Coe, a lot of Bob Marley. I'm a Jamaican citizen, so I got to stay true to my roots.
You had an embarrassing moment when you were coaching at another university. Can you tell me about that?
Well, I got hit pretty good in the groin when we were playing KU, but I turned it into a positive. I told him on the interview after the game, I told the announcer that I needed 2 weeks of intense therapy. So my wife thought that was pretty good.
I recently watched a YouTube clip of you playing football. You kind of get into the games. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
You know, I set an NCAA record for having the most fun of anyone who's ever played, and that's my goal as a coach. I want to have the most fun of anybody who's ever coached this game. And by doing that, you gotta win, and that's why we're here.
Your living situation, when you first got to Bloomington, tell me about that.
You know, I just rolled into town and rolled in our 45-foot RV and parked it right in the stadium and took up shop for a few months.
Did anybody ever mess with you at all?
Yeah, one of our players unplugged me one time. So I had this routine. I'd get up and come in about 5 a.m. and I'd always walk out of the stadium. You know, at night I'd always get back there about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I go in there and I've got an automatic keyless entry in that. And I go and you always hear it. And I kept hitting it, nothing. And they had unplugged me and my battery was dead. So the heat was off, and I told them once I figure out who did it, they're in trouble.
Looking into the future, what do you foresee happening with Indiana football?
You know, when I played at Kansas State, it was very similar to the situation we walked into now. And by the time I was a junior and senior, we were a top 10 program. And that's what, obviously, that's a goal. That's what you want to build to, and that's what we're shooting for.
Hey, Mike, thanks a lot for joining us here on Hot Seat.
Welcome back to the Kevin Wilson Show. Coach, the upcoming opponent is South Carolina State, but let's talk about some of the players who really stood out in that game against Virginia. We mentioned Greg Heben before, but he was a guy with 2 interceptions and brought a lot of attitude.
He did, played well. Again, did a nice job supporting the run as well. A couple other nice pass breakups, especially in the red zone. Greg's playing good ball.
And then Ed Wright Baker got better as that game went along, and he is still learning as a quarterback.
Still is, and we are as a team. We got to be, and the guys around him. It's a work in progress, getting the run game going. They'll take stress off the quarterback, stress off protection, our young receivers, and spacing things out. We're still, we're still a little bit out of sync sometimes. So Ed's job's a little more difficult than he wants it. But again, as he plays, as we play, we'll work through it.
Dre Muhammad had a big week 1. Deweese Wilson had a big week 2. He showed off those hands on that catch in the end zone, and he's a guy who can be a major weapon moving forward.
You know, and Deweese just had a slow start with preseason. Got a little nicked with a small little pull to one of his muscles down his leg that kind of slowed him out a little bit. But he's kind of back in flow, practicing well, and he's very, very capable. So it's nice to see him step up and come through in the game for us.
Coach Eckler's also on the show here today. The work that your defensive coordinators did, Coach Mallory and Coach Eckler, getting prepared for a team like Virginia, really played well at times.
It did. At the same time, we're still, I think, working through scheme on both sides of the ball. Things that we like to do or have confidence in as coaches, but also getting a great feel of our young men and trying to put them in the best position. So we'll keep working and tweaking. We're not going to reinvent the wheel, have a brand new defensive scheme or an offensive scheme every week, but we'll keep moving forward, trying to put our guys in great positions to make plays for us.
A lot of people talking about those white helmets. Look pretty sharp. Players like them?
Players were all for it. We put it out in the spring if they would be interested. It was almost a unanimous team vote if you could have one choice. Didn't know if we'd have 2 choices, but we were very fortunate enough to have the opportunity. As we go through the year, we'll let the players and the seniors kind of decide, you know, what's the attire they want to wear as we go in each game.
You mentioned the energy level of the team in that game and how you were happy with it. How excited were the players to be in front of the student section? I think it was really good. Again, we kind of went over there for a couple of reasons. Our recruits are over there as well, and our player families. It's good to be behind them, for them to be behind our team. But I think being behind the student body, especially, again, we've got to make plays for them to cheer for us. But as the defense created some plays, as the offense created some plays, the crowd did a great job, and love to see those guys continue to build for us. We need to build for them, but I love what they brought for us in the first game, and hopefully they'll be there Saturday to play South Carolina State. You got South Carolina State coming to town. This is a team that's going to compete for the MEAC title. This is a talented football team.
just played one of their big rivals last week. I actually coached in that league at one of their rival schools for a couple of years, so know it well, know the athletes, know Coach Pugh and program. He's been there a long time. They've been a tremendous 1AA team. Lost a close one to Central Michigan week 1. Central Michigan played Kentucky very tight yesterday, so Central's got a solid football team. They had a very, very nice win against Bethune-Cookman, so they'll come in with a very athletic team, but also a team that's won a lot of football games, even though it's in the 1AA level. They'll come in expecting to win. We need to play well. We need to keep improving. We need to notch our first win this week.
That wraps up our Q&A with the head coach. When we come back on the Kevin Wilson Show, we'll go behind the scenes with strength and conditioning coach Mark Hill. Welcome back to the Kevin Wilson Show. Coach Wilson wants the Hoosiers leaner, faster, and stronger. The man charged with the task of getting them there is strength and conditioning coach Mark Hill. Let's go behind the scenes with Coach Hill right now. Coach, let's go through the workouts that your student athletes have to take part in. Let's start with the preseason. What is kind of a typical day in a preseason workout for one of your student athletes?
A preseason workout for us is going to last anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. You know, we're trying to get stronger, get more explosive, but we're also having to get in shape, you know, getting faster, a lot more conditioning. We're trying to get ready for the season, getting ready for fall camp, making sure the guys are able to go through fall camp so that we don't have to do a lot of conditioning in the practice, that we can just do practice and not a lot of running. And also get ready for the season, learning how to finish fourth quarters of the game, just getting mentally prepared for the toughness of the Big Ten.
It's a cliche, but cliches are often cliches because they're true, that players are made in the offseason. What is the typical offseason workout for an Indiana football player?
Typical offseason for an Indiana football player is going to involve speed training. It's going to involve plyometrics. You know, depending on what we do that day, it can be any measure of straight line running to an agility drill, any type of plyometric bounding, lateral quickness drill, foot drill, speed ladder, hill runs, stadium runs, sled runs, sled pushes, you name it. We do it as far as getting players better in form of, you know, speed training and whatnot. You also come in the weight room. We're going to start with our free weight primarily program. We're going to do a lot of Olympic lifts. We're going to do a lot of squat variations, your normal bench press, you know, working, you know, the 6 major muscle groups out. I'll also working a lot of prehab, trying to get the little small muscles, make sure they're fine-tuned.
In-season's got to pose some challenges to you as the strength and conditioning coach, in that they've got to deal with recovery, getting ready for games, but you also want to keep them as strong as they were heading into the season. What do you do there?
Absolutely. In season, it's the coach's time. You know, it's their meeting time, it's their practice time. I get a very minute time with the athletes, but Coach Wilson believes in strength conditioning so much, he makes sure I get what I need with the guys in order to keep them strong, keep them injury free, you know, for the season. So I'm only going to get about 2 workouts in. I get a little bit more with the redshirt guys. I'm just trying to keep them going, keep some strength, you know, like I said, fight some injuries away, keep a lot of soreness out, you know, primarily through the season.
And while you come with a lot of credentials and are a great head man, you've got a great staff surrounding you and helping you out training this football program.
Absolutely. I can't do it by myself. You know, we got 105, 110 guys. We don't lift all those guys at the same time. I've got a great staff of guys, very knowledgeable, very energetic. You know, they echo what Coach Wilson is trying to bring to this program. And, you know, when Coach Wilson is not around, we're around these guys and we have to get it done as a staff. And I have a good staff. You know, Fred Glass has done a tremendous job of allotting us the staff resources to be able to work a team out the way they need to be worked out.
That wraps up this week's show. Tune in next week as we'll have a recap of the South Carolina State game, a preview of the upcoming contest on the road against North Texas. We'll have another player interview. Someone will be put on the spot on the Knicks English Hut hot seat, and we'll have a lot of fun stuff from around campus right here on the Kevin Wilson Show. Tune in next week.